All right, guys. Welcome to Resilient Voices and Beyond podcast. Now, some of y'all are going to get on me, but I'm just looking at the platforms Spotify, Apple, Spreaker, and I'm like, I have not set a trailer. And this podcast has been running for almost 3 years now, but I need to set one um, so that for the new individuals coming to listen to this, can really understand the meat of it all, what I'm trying to do here, what's the mission, and like why I started it. So, if you've been following the podcast, you probably listened to the episode I just did um, with Isabel, kind of going through my story, and also a podcast I did with Speaks. So those are some episodes. If you want to know a little bit about me, um, check those out, look at those. But I want to go through my podcast summary, my mission, my vision, and my core values for you guys out there coming to the Resilient Voices and Beyond podcast. So, with that being said, let me pull it up. The Resilient Voices and Beyond podcast is here to showcase the voices which were once silenced. This podcast offers a platform for those voices to be heard, along with that also received. Along with that, it's here to showcase the hard work of the community partners, community leaders, and advocates, activists, stakeholders, state and federal government agencies, policymakers, and legislators, and also bring up a new generation of foster care alumni. And I would even say a new generation of juvenile justice alumni, and let's get a little bit deeper with that. Bring up the next generation of individuals impacted by our systems, by society, and by this generation who is enduring the survival mindset. Now, find where I left off at. Oh, man. On this podcast, I hope to educate on reforms, advocacy, policies, prevention, foster care, adoption, kinship, CCIs, JJ, the child welfare system, and more, while challenging and breaking away from the stigmas and labels surrounding it. Also, I will talk about the child welfare system as a whole and the policies and legislation behind it, federally and locally. Last but not least, I hope to create a dialogue on reform and advocacy that is already happening and or needs to happen. Now that's my podcast summary. It's broad, but yet it's deep because I want it to be intentional about what this platform is here for. I'm not trying to be another podcast catching trends. And with all due respect, I'm not trying to do lip service. I'm truly out here trying to educate people on the stories, the side effects of being in care, being impacted by care, and the life thereafter. You know, a lot of individuals are resilient, not out of intention, but out of a means to make it through. And I don't want to twist. Resiliency can also be positive, but a lot of times we're resilient not on purpose because it's more so of a means we got to do it. We got to be resilient. We have to persevere because if not, we fold. And sometimes folding ain't an option. And I hope it's not the first option for many out there. I hope that we choose to continue to push forward. But so many of my brothers and sisters who have been in the foster care system, who've been in the juvenile justice system, who've been in the criminal justice system, who's been homeless, who has been impacted or experienced human and sex trafficking, experienced America's immigration, laws that we have had in the past and still continue to have that aren't so finite, those who've been persecuted in a real life sense. Um, yeah. So my mission kind of mirrors my podcast summary. Um, my vision kind of takes a different turn a little bit, so I'll share that. Our vision is to create a world where the voices of the silence are heard and valued. Mm. We strive to be a community where foster care alumni, community partners, leaders, advocates, activists, stakeholders, state and federal government agencies, policymakers, and legislators work together to advocate for reforms and policies that benefit children and youth in the child welfare system and in their own homes. Through our podcast, we aim to inspire and empower a new generation of leaders who are committed to making a positive, impactful change in the world. Now, in this vision, it speaks to the child welfare system. Now, I'm one to hope that we can make it to a place in life where the child welfare system is no longer needed, at least the one that we know of now. Because we know the history, we know the track record of the systems that are developed now. They derive from not so positive historic means. We know the child welfare system has historically been a policing system for African Americans. Now it's not just African Americans, it's BIPOC individuals, and it has historically tore down these communities and the culture and the heritage and the traditions within these communities where we see systematic, generational and intergenerational side effects that continues to play a part and effect of what we see and the recidivism rates of individuals coming into the system. Now, when I get to my core values here, empowerment being number one, we believe in empowering individuals to share their story and to advocate for change. I would even touch further in that. I believe by empowering individuals, giving them that power back that once was stolen from them, that, they may have thought they didn't have anymore, by empowering them, by lighting that candle once again within these individuals, we can see a different world, a different society. Inclusivity being number two, we value diversity and inclusivity and strive to create a safe and welcoming space for all voices. Now, our systems are very diverse. There's so many different sectors between the different sexualities, orientations, ethnicities, and more. And I want to have this platform showcase each and every one of those faces that are out there in society. I don't want it to be a one-sided story. I don't want it to be a one-sided voice, because our system isn't one-sided. There's many different stories, there's many different individuals, there's many different backgrounds included. So inclusivity is a huge part of this platform. Education. We believe in the power of education and aim to educate our listeners on reforms, policies, and advocacy, and more. Sometimes, not even sometimes, there's still a huge population of people out there that don't understand what foster care really is. What is the harm that happens when CPS comes into an individual's home? Like, there's a narrative that TV and movies and um, things and books have kind of portrayed about foster youth in the foster care system. And they have set a standard for stigmas and labels that aren't true. You know, there's a lot of myths, and I just want to educate people on the truth and the real that's happening. Not only from just a stigma and label point of view, but also from the narratives that agencies, state and private, agencies have put out there to shadow or silence in a sense the people's voice. I'm in no way trying to bash, trying to persecute myself, any of these agencies or state or private or what have you, but um there has been a trend throughout the years um of the community not really having a voice or the community being the scapegoat. Uh, and we know when there's an issue, when there's a conflict, you know, uh, sometimes there can be one person, but this is not a one sided conflict. The breakdown in the communication, the breakdown in community collaboration, it's not just on the mothers, on the fathers, of these communities. It's on the state, on the workers, on the directors, on the administrators, and more. Collaboration. I feel like I kind of went into that, but we believe collaboration is key to driving change, and we aim to bring together community partners, leaders, advocates, activists, stakeholders, state and federal government agencies, policymakers, and legislators to create a collective impact. Authenticity. We value authenticity and aim to showcase the real stories and experiences of those affected by our systems. You know, I wrote in here just shout with her, but I've learned throughout doing these 3 seasons, third being in progress now, that the child welfare system in some ways is not the first system that these individuals enter. Um, and I want to make sure that I include it all. Now, lastly, being innovation. We are committed to finding a new and innovative way to drive change and create a better future for children and youth in the child welfare system and other systems as well. Now, that's, podcast. That's what we're here for. That's why I'm here for. Um, this podcast kind of developed out of um, me wanting to help other people find their voices, use their voices, heal from their voices, and more. Remember creating this, out of brunt out of COVID, the brunt end of COVID. And wanted to see how I can just be a help, but also this had been something in my notes in my phone sitting around and me making many decisions to be like, oh no, this ain't what I'm supposed to be doing. This is not where I'm supposed to be at. It's not for me. But um, many of the listeners may know I got my personal faith, and after running so many times from what God called me to do, I had to be obedient. I had to allow Him to order my steps, and this is one of those steps that was ordered, amongst many other things that I do within the space, systemic change, in the social welfare space, and more. Um, this is one of the many destinations that um, I'm meant to share my side, share other side, and just guide the conversation and be a vessel, be a servant to this work. And I know that my story is not my own, and that's not just for me. That's for some people out there. Our stories are meant to be heard. Our voices are meant to be heard and received. I know that I didn't go through as much pain and as much suffering that I did for myself. Um, I can see now what I went through um, has an impact, and helping others understand that they're not alone, but also helping others see that there's a way through. Some of us get lost um, through our pain and what we've been through, and try to numb out through substances, through unhealthy relationships, through at risk behaviors, and more. And I just hope that by me building this space, it helps some people see that there's another way. Now, I wanted to share this with you guys as well. I was sitting here writing, I was trying to figure out like what is my podcast power statement? What is the slogan? What are we truly doing here? And this is what I came up with. At Resilient Voices and Beyond, we are the echo of the silenced, the architects of change. Founded by Michael D. Davis Thomas, MDDTSpeaks embodies a commitment to amplify voices once muted. We serve as a beacon for individuals with lived experience, community leaders, advocates, policymakers, and more, challenging stigma and fostering a dialogue that transcends labels. Our mission is to empower, educate, innovate, cultivate a world where authenticity reigns. And because I can't speak today, y'all, inclusivity thrives, and the resilient voices of foster care alumni and more shape a brighter future. That's our power statement here, Uh, yeah, that's it. The slogan. Now, this took me a minute, but I think we got it. Resilient voices and beyond, amplifying change, empowering lives from silence to strength. A personal revolution. That last piece really it gets me every time because I I'm a Deion Sanders fan. um, and a lot of what he said, in his walk with Christ and his walk navigating all the naysayers being, you know, truly who he is, I'm sitting here, listening and watching, one of the football games of Colorado. And, one of the things is like, it's personal, it's personal, it's personal. And I'm like, what has happened throughout history, how the system looks today, the issues, the problems, the community, breakdown, the disadvantages, the suffrage. It's personal. At least it's personal for me, like I don't know about anybody else, but it's personal for me, and it's a personal revolution. We need to rise up and say no more, you know. So it's personal, y'all. And I'm gonna leave you guys with this. This is supposed to be a trailer. I ain't supposed to be going too long. I'm supposed to be trying to combine and make something really short for a trailer to kind of get y'all ears and brains going to listen to season 1, season 2, season 3, and the seasons beyond. I'm gonna leave you guys with one of my favorite quotes. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? I hope you guys come with me on this journey as we explore the systems, the individuals impacted, their lives through resiliency and beyond. Thank you guys for listening to this trailer. Thank you guys for taking a chance on this podcast. Whether you listen to this trailer and it's like, nope, it's not for me, or you listen to this trailer and listen to every episode, I appreciate you. I want you to know that you are loved regardless. You are appreciated. And I hope that you come with me.